Welcome back to the podcast. I am Audrey Rindlisbacher, the founder of the Mission Driven Mom and the author of The Mission Driven Life. If you have not headed over to themissiondrivenmom.com and gotten your free copy of the first 3 chapters of the book, The Mission Driven Life, discover and fulfill your unique contribution to the world, make sure you go grab those chapters. It will introduce you to the 7 laws of life mission, tell you kind of the backstory of the book, and get you into those laws and learning how to live a more mission-driven life, discover and fulfill your unique contribution to the world. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new to the podcast, you may want to head back to the beginning. In addition to listening to the more recent episodes, go back to the beginning and listen through. There's a series on the 7 laws. There's a bunch of mission-driven stories, and you can really get a handle on what we talk about on this podcast and why and how it relates to principles in those 7 laws. Today, we're going to talk for a few minutes about what is life mission. I want to do a series of episodes for you on a lot of the different questions we get asked at the Mission Driven Mom about life mission. We've written down a whole bunch of them. You can look forward to these coming out in the weeks and months to come to answer a lot of the questions you might have about life mission, why it matters, how to discover it, what the 7 laws are, what they can do for you, and more. So we're going to begin at the beginning and talk about what life mission is. The best way that I know to describe this to you so that you kind of have a visual, an analogy of what life mission is to imagine that you live in a kingdom. And this kingdom has a king, and he's the very best king you can possibly imagine. He is very attentive to everything that goes on within his realm. He knows his people. He loves his people. He always does what's right and just for his people. And he always wants to make improvements in his kingdom and to have everyone prosper. Well, you live in this kingdom and you're just a very average person. You don't have very many resources. You don't have very much to offer. You don't really know what gifts and talents you might have or how you could make a contribution. But you find in your heart a desire to be useful. You love this king and you want to be closer to this king and you want to see if there's anything you could possibly do to help the king. And so even though you don't think there's much of you, you give yourself willingly to this king. You go to him with a willing heart and you say to him, I don't have much to offer, but if I can be of any help at all, I will do whatever you ask me to do. Because I trust you completely, and I know that you love our people, and I know that there's ways that you're always trying to make improvements. I don't think there's much that I can do, but if you see any way that I can be helpful or useful, please let me know. Well, what do you think this good, wonderful king would do if someone came to him and said these words? He would accept their help, right? It wouldn't matter if they didn't have anything to offer in their own eyes. He would find a use for them. There would be definitely something that they could do. If they could walk, then they could take messages. If they could write, then they could take dictation. If they could read or speak or whatever they had to offer, he would try to put that to good use. But he would also want that individual and his subject to be able to be of more use, especially if that subject, if you or I, being this person that's willingly gone to the king and wanted to participate in making things better, if you were the king looking at that subject of yours, you would think, wow, they're just so eager and so willing and want to make a difference. I'm going to help them grow and develop so they can do more and more for me. And what you would do is if you were the king, is you would start with something small. You would prepare that subject in some small thing that you felt that they were actually capable of, and you would look around in your realm and see what task needed to be performed. And then the king would give that subject a mission. And so you're this individual. And you've come to his throne and you've told him that you have a willing heart and mind and you will do whatever he asks you to do. And then he sends you off to do something that seems small, seems unimportant, seems whatever it seems to you. But if you have the right mindset, you understand that even if you don't see how it's useful or helpful, the king sure does. And you would also understand that he's going to send you on smaller missions, on smaller errands to make sure he can really trust you and that you're really going to do what you say you're going to do. And that you're going to do it to the best of your ability, that you're going to show up with excellence in these smaller tasks that he gives you. And again, like I said, he's going to match your abilities to the needs in the realm. And and what's so cool about this whole model is that everybody's going to win. The king is going to get tasks done that he needs done by someone who's ready and willing, who's showing up with the best attitude that they can and really striving to do their best in this particular task, and who's also growing and developing through this process of being sent out on these little missions, which may seem little, but actually may end up being a very big deal in the grand scheme of things because we can't know. We don't see the whole picture. Only the king sees the whole picture. All we see is this little thing that we've been sent to do. And what's really cool is that when the king sends you out on any errand, even the smallest, he's going to send you out with everything that you need. He's going to make sure you're properly prepared so that you can optimally succeed, and he's going to participate in preparing you for whatever this is that you need to do. He's going to make it very clear what his expectations are and what you need to accomplish. And then he's going to give you all of the proper resources and the proper authority, whether you need keys or badges or seals or armor or messages, whatever it is you need, he's going to make sure you have those things. Now, maybe you're not going to have them all right at the exact moment that you want them, but as you trust him, he provides those things along the way. And then the really beautiful thing for you is that you get to feel useful and you get to get closer and closer to this king. As you perform the very best you can in even the smallest things that he gives you to do, he obviously will give you more and he will draw you closer to him and he will prepare you for greater and greater tasks or missions. And you will develop a closer and closer relationship with him and you will learn to trust him completely and he will learn to trust you completely and he will put larger and larger responsibilities in your hands. You will grow and develop. You will begin to grow into your potential. You will discover all sorts of things about yourself that you never could have known had you not offered yourself to the king who could use you to the maximum of your ability, who understands what all the needs are out there in the realm, in the kingdom, and how he can match what you can do with those needs. And then, because you're so willing and because you're so trustworthy and because you're so hardworking and so eager to do your best, he wants to increase your education. He wants to bring out more of your talents and gifts. He wants to help you to develop those and give you greater and greater challenges because he needs reliable, trustworthy people to do his work. He can't do it all. He can't be everywhere doing everything. He leans on his subjects to do those things for him. And you can work your way into his inner circle and be one of the most trusted people that are close to him, that's constantly being used to have greater and greater influence and impact. And when you understand that God is the king of the world, then you begin to understand exactly how this works, exactly what mission is. And many of your concerns or fears or worries just immediately begin to fall away because you understand that you don't have to show up with a bunch of stuff to offer. You don't have to have a million gifts and talents. You just need to be willing to take instruction, willing to work hard, willing to keep your commitments, willing to trust and have faith that you will be given what you need to accomplish the task, and that if it looks like you're falling short, then you can call on the king and he will help you in whatever way he can, but that he needs to depend on you. You need to grow and develop and become, and that this whole process is a beautiful experience for self-discovery, for personal growth, for closeness to God and better understanding him and increasing your faith. And there's this rich context where You grow to become more like him because you're spending more time with him. You are in the company of better and better people because you're around other people who are also willing, who also want to make the world a better place, who also want to show up and do what they can do, and who don't wallow in self-doubt, and who don't engage in self-pity, and who don't act like a victim, but instead say, I want to make myself better. I want to make my family better. I want to make my community better. And as a child of God, God's going to start with me. And so let's get to work, have God show me the first things that I need to engage in so that I can become more like him and I can be more capable of doing work that would be a blessing to the world. It's all about this partnership with God. And it's about recognizing that he's the authority, he's in charge. He decides what the work is that needs to be done. And he places many good desires on your heart so that you will want to partner with him and you will want to face fears and overcome weaknesses in submission to the greater good. That you want to be part of his plan for how things are going to get better, that you want him to use you because that is what gives your life the greatest, deepest meaning, and that you don't always know what's needed out in the world, and you don't always know how to match who you are with what's needed. So you let him guide you. You prepare yourself. You submerge yourself in those things that will help you to understand him better. And you recognize that he gets to make up the rules. It's his mission. It's his world. It's his kingdom. It's his plan. It's his laws. It's his principles. And if you will let him be in charge, if you will completely submit to him, you will then rise up off your knees so much grander than you could ever be without him. And so it's this beautiful partnership where we get to discover ourselves, where we get to become and accomplish more than we ever would before. And sometimes people struggle with these concepts of life mission because they think that it might feel mundane or it might be doing things that they were doing before. But it's important to remember something that C.S. Lewis said. He said that when he was an atheist, he just went about his day living his life. And he thought that when he was converted to God and Christianity, that his life would look really different. And what he realized was that his life looked much the same. He did many of the same things he was doing before, just like deciding that you're going to be on a mission as a mom, that you want to partner with God, doesn't mean you're going to wake up tomorrow and life is going to look dramatically different. It just means that you've submitted yourself and that you are showing up, trying to be different, trying to let God take the lead. And he said he realized that after his conversion, he did many of the same things, but now he did them to the glory of God. And that changes everything. That makes everything different because now you know that you're not in it alone. You know that he's going to show up for you. He's going to give you everything that you need. He's going to be there for you every step of the way. He's going to show you how you need to grow and develop. And the 7 laws of life mission that we see great men and women of positive influence engaging in, being committed to living out, are the roadmap for us. They are the markers on our journey that show us how we can prepare ourselves, how we can partner with God. A couple more things I want to mention in answer to the question, what is life mission? I have studied the lives of many different kinds of people, and you can do life mission in many walks of life. Certainly, your calling as a parent is part of your life mission. Certainly, as a spouse, in other relationships that you hold. There are many areas in which you're already called, so you just need to step up and treat it like a mission. And it can be in so many areas of life. I've studied athletes and scientists and doctors and business owners, teachers, performers, artists. And that's why mission work, what makes it mission is not the type of work that it is. I know that we correlate this a lot with religious connotations in terms of religions have missions, they have missionaries. This is something that's different. This is recognizing that right now, today, in our everyday lives, we can be that person that's willing to let God use them. and willing to try to glorify God in everything that we do, and to let Him help us to know which laws and principles we can live that will make us better prepared to bless ourselves and others more fully. So it isn't the type of work that you do, but the spirit in which it is done, how it is performed, and who it is being done for. That's what makes mission work different from just any other type of work that we might do. Not the kind of work that it is. This isn't going out and being a missionary. Here's how I define life mission in the book. Life mission is an errand given by God to an individual or group to complete in the service of others. It is in this service they represent God, striving to do as He would do in their place, and ultimately they are responsible to God for what they do. Through their acts of service, they, their families, and those they serve experience personal growth, and their lives are deeply enriched. Another way of understanding what life mission is to think for a minute about what it is not. I've written down 7 points of what mission is not. And this is just a short list. There are many other things that we could say, but these will give you an idea. People who say they're doing life mission, but really are not, are people who are doing these types of things. Number one, they are in it for themselves and not for others. They may try to make it look like service work. Like I know of this woman that started this program that was supposed to be helping young girls who were sex trafficked, but then she was telling them to lie about their stories and she was using them for other purposes. There are many examples of people who are using the language of mission to hijack work that really is just self-focused in order to get money or popularity or whatever other things might be motivating them. 2, they lie and deceive others about the work they are doing. 3, they're willing to sacrifice others to get what they want or to be perceived as successful. 4, they're more interested in appearance than in substance. And in some of these things, like this last one, we really have to self-evaluate and try to be super honest with ourselves about what our greatest motivations are, why we do what we do. 5, they're unwilling to be self-critical and make necessary corrections to their character and methods. 6, they are unwilling to take responsibility for their mistakes. And 7, they are not interested in enriching others, only themselves. In essence, those who tell themselves that they are engaged in life mission, but may not actually be doing what mission requires. They may be working hard, they may be brilliant, they may be innovative, but true life mission requires more than that. It requires their submission to God and truth, letting the king of the realm give you the menial job that you just don't want to do, that maybe hits at your ego and you don't get all the accolades, but you know that your contribution is making a difference because it comes from the king and he knows best. And what you always find in the long run, when you work in a mission format and in a mission mindset, the outcomes are far more beautiful. You bring forth far more fruit. And there are so many positive outcomes you could never anticipate for those and for those you love. One last thing I want to say about life mission, what life mission is. As Dr. Frankel explained, don't aim at success. The more you aim at it and make it the target, the more you are going to miss it. For success, like happiness, cannot be pursued. It must ensue. And it only does so as the unintended side effect of one's dedication to a cause greater than oneself. The same holds true for life mission. We can't pursue it, but when we prepare for it, when we submit to the 7 laws of life mission, when we submit to God and His laws, when we recognize that we are not the king of the realm and we don't want to be, we just truly want to be of service, we want to be used in meaningful ways that give our lives deeper purpose and meaning, then life mission will ensue as a natural result of the fact that we have submitted ourselves and we have prepared ourselves. We have learned to love God by establishing our divine center, to love ourselves by striving for self-mastery, to love truth by building a principle-centered life, and to love humanity by becoming servant leaders. Anyone and everyone who does this, who lives those 4 foundational laws, will hear the call. Always. And don't get me wrong, you are in callings right now. God is calling you right now. You're already a leader to your children. You may be a leader in your place of work. So, what kind of leader are you going to be? Are you going to be a servant leader? Are you going to be on a mission? Are you going to submit to God, to the King, who can make that mission work be consecrated for good to benefit you and everyone around you? Or are you going to continue to do it your own way and to think that you know best and bump against those laws? The laws of nature, the true principles that we either get to live or that will destroy us if we don't honor them. So, I hope that was helpful to give you some framework and overall general understanding. At the Mission Driven Mom, we are mission driven moms. We understand what life mission is, and we are engaged in the process. We have the lens of mission, we have submitted ourselves to the King, and we are preparing ourselves for the errands that He has for us, for those special, unique missions where He pairs up who we are, where we are, and what we are with the real needs in the world. It's a beautiful process that blesses and benefits everybody that's involved. And I just can't tell you how rewarding it has been to watch women go through this process. We've had over 600 women go through our level 1, and many dozens of them go all the way through the process and graduate. And those women are now out in the world doing beautiful work, making a positive difference, using their gifts and talents as they take their lead from the God who loves them. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time.